Hello everybody. If you recall, a few videos ago, I reviewed this Wurkkos HD03 light. I've been carrying this thing around with me everywhere I go. I mean, it's fantastic. It's bright, extremely handy, and it's quite a lot of fun to play with. It clips onto things, it has a magnet. It's very convenient. It's pretty much everywhere I go now. It's in my pocket 24/7 whenever I'm around. But since then, I've decided to get a bit of an upgrade. Check out this bad boy. It's the Wurkkos TS27. We're gonna take a look at this thing. It's so big, it doesn't even fit in my camera frame, and it's heavy. So let's start off by just looking at the outside here, and I'm gonna review all the features. 3200 lumens, so that is gonna be bright. I don't know if you remember, but when I tested this guy out, it was extremely bright. I can't imagine this thing. It's gonna be incredibly, insanely bright. Bi-directional lighting, stepless adjustments, so for brightness, dynamic RGB mood lighting. There's a whole ring in here that allows you to have different RGB modes. Here are the performances here. You've got 5 LM up to 3200. That's pretty bright. The Sidelight is 3 up to about 1100. And that gives you about the number of hours, 300 hours on low. That's a long time. You can go turbo 7 minutes, like insanely bright, to about 220 minutes, roughly almost 2 hours on the more modest 1350 lumen range, but that's still very bright. And it's IPX8 rated, so it'll handle water, no problem. It's 305 grams, so it's a pretty hefty, chunky little flashlight. Type-C charger, just like the smaller brother. And it has an input of 9 and output of 9. So I got to see how that works. But yep, let's open it up. Give me a second and we'll go through the manual. Now I have to charge this thing up. I haven't done anything yet, but let's have a look. Open it up and there it is. Read me. Make sure to remove the battery insulating paper disc before use. Okay, so there's going to be some kind of paper inside of this tube at either end. Okay, we have here a user manual, which I will review. So just like if you remember its smaller cousin, the HD03, there's a whole system of how to use the buttons to go through the different modes. And I'm gonna have to read this and figure it out. You can see when you click it 1 time or 2 times or 3 times, you can get through the various modes. So there's a lot of different things you can do. Okay, you can see distance. With the turbo, you can get 845 meters. That's almost a kilometer distance. I'm gonna love trying this at night when we have a chance. All right, so what do we have? We get a charging cable, USB-C to USB-A type. Okay, so this is another lanyard, some kind of a clip like we had for the HD03. It's a little bit more rugged. Let's see. Yep, and there's some rings. I believe these are for to waterproof the ends here. I'm gonna store these here because they're backups. And the flashlight, very well constructed. This is extremely strong looking metal. Nice design. We have the USB-C port right here, which is underneath this waterproof little rubber enclosure right there. So that should be well protected. I can see here there's a ring of what looks like RGB type lights underneath here. There's the very super bright LED for the main flashlight function. And here is a hole where you'd put the lanyard through. And there is a button, and it looks like you can switch modes here. We're gonna find out what those are. That looks like more of a down direction. This is more a beam, and then this may be sets a flasher. I'm not sure. We're going to figure that out. Let's open this up. Okay, this end opens. I can see that. And there is one of the tabs. Okay, there is a rubber ring right there. Let's see what's in here. That is one huge battery. Oh my God, it's heavy. If any of you are interested, it's a 1500 milliamp hour XH32140. Okay, that is one big battery. And the other end, I don't see any paper down there, so I guess it's just the one end. And we'll screw this back on. Okay, and close it up. Okay, does the other end open? Yes, it does. Okay, and there's the other ring, the rubber here, and that's where it connects. Okay, and we have the other end of the battery, which does not come out on this end. So, not that I would ever remove the battery. I don't see a point to remove it. I wouldn't even know how to charge this thing separately from this thing, but let's, I'm going to read the instructions and we're going to try this out. Okay. All right. So I've read through the manual here and it's very similar to the HD03. And it's very intuitive. Once you get to know this one is about the same thing. So there's going to be 3 modes. You're going to have the light coming off the bottom here, which is this. If you put it to the middle here, you're going to have the light coming out the front there. And if you're on this mode, you're going to have the RGB there. Okay, so let's start off with the regular flashlight. Okay, so it is extremely bright and hot. I don't know if you can tell, but it is extremely bright. It will remember the setting, so if you just press it once, it'll go back to whatever you had before. But to change the brightness, you hold on to it like this, and you press and hold down, and it will reduce brightness. See, it'll go down lower. See, that's at the very lowest setting. And then if you hold it again, it'll increase until it gets to the brightest. Now, you can't tell how bright it is because on the camera on my phone here that I'm filming this with is adjusting. But you can adjust the brightness by holding it down, alternating it high or low. Now, the other cool thing is if you just do it twice like that, or you go once, you can press it, increase it, and then when you turn it on, it remembers the setting. I can lower it. Let's say I lower it down to middle of the range here. Let me just lower it. Okay, that's low, kind of a low setting. I'm gonna turn it off. And it says here that if you just do a 2-click, okay, it goes to the brightest setting, okay? 2 clicks, it'll jump to the brightest setting, okay? And if you do 3 clicks, it's gonna do several modes, like, see, hold on, let's do 3. 1, 2, 3. It'll do strobe, which is extremely annoying, but that's similar to what this was doing, okay? And I believe there is, yeah, that's basically it. So you've got turbo, 2 clicks to the brightest setting, and 2 clicks to the lowest setting, okay? 1 click to get back to the preset setting. You hold it down to adjust brightness, press and hold, and it'll go up and down, and you'll see it flash. See right there? And then it'll start to go down again. If you press it again, it'll reduce, okay? Do mind this warning, it does get very hot. I can feel the heat on my hand, so I can't imagine what that is. Okay, triple click to get an amazing strobe, which will blind anybody. And that's basically it, okay? Now, if you flip over to the next mode, that is the bottom light. This guy right here. Now, the cool thing is it's the same functions. You see? You can keep the flashlight like this. I'm gonna turn the light off. I've turned the light off in the room, And you can see it's like a nice camping light. You can just hold it like that and it just directs everything down beautifully. Now you can do the same thing. If you hold it, it'll brighten up and then it flashes there. And then if you press it again, it'll go down. And that's a very nice camping bright light. Still very good, but this will last hours. You can see it there, beautiful. Now, what does it say here in the instructions? Let's just bring it up. I think you can double click again. It'll go up to the highest setting. And if you do 3 clicks, you'll go high, low, 1 click, previous state. So let's do 3 clicks here. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's the low state. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Or 1, 2. 1, 2 goes up to the high state. Yeah, and 1 click the previous state. And again, you can change the brightness. I can go higher, or if I hold it, let go and press again, it'll go lower. So that is that. Finally, we have the RGB mode. Whoops, I put it to the wrong one. Let's do one more. RGB. All right, so if you hold it down, you'll change the color of the RGBs. It cycles through all the different colors, as you can see there. Okay, if you double click, it will flash whatever color you happen to choose and stay on there. You double click again, and it'll do a police. Isn't that cool? You got like a police thing going on here. See? So you can use this in an emergency if you're on the side of the road or anything. Okay, if you double click again, so if I can't find my button, it is on this side. Okay, double click. And we have this sort of rotating RGB light show. Goes around and around like this. And if you double click again, it will pulsate, or actually just go through the colors on its own. It's cycling automatically, you see? It's going through orange and red. You can have a pretty cool effect here. See, it's just going through purple, blue, and then it's going to green-ish, yellow. Okay, double click again. And it's hard to see this, but it is cycling through the rainbows. Okay, there. See? Look on the paper. Isn't that cool? It's a pretty neat effect. You can see the colors cycling around. Okay, and you press it again. This is just sort of a heartbeat. It'll pulse down and then go up again in a different color, and then come down and go up again in a different color. Okay, and it pulsates. See? And this is like a radar almost. It goes around in a circle. It accumulates, you see? They're building up. And then when it fills up, it goes to a different color and it just adds on, you see? It adds on, and once it fills up, it goes through this animated effect, as you can see there. It goes through a whole bunch of different colors, stacks them up, and then unwinds and then changes color. So it's a neat animated effect. If I double click again, oops, what did I do? Double click. That's the police, the thing, there, rainbow, pulsating. That's the one that stacks that we just saw. Double click. Okay, and now it has a sort of animated, it glows, it goes out and then closes and then opens and then closes and then opens like that and then goes back. It almost feels like Close Encounters of the Third Kind. You can see how it's animating around and then going the other way and then back this way. Okay, and again, yeah, this is just cycles around back and forth and changes color. It's pretty nifty. Okay, and then you have one more mode. What's this do? Oh, that's just back to the beginning. Okay, so yeah, let's go back to just the regular mode here. That's the flashlight again. Here we go. All right. So those are the different modes of this flashlight. Okay, very intuitive once you get to know it. And we still have to test this outside in a park. So we'll try that next. Let's go back to this mode, which is pretty cool. I love that. Just leave it like that and you can see everything you want. All right, guys, I'm in the forest and this is the bright mode here. And this is the dim mode. You can barely see anything. And now that's the brightest mode. And you can see very, very far. You can see how far I'm zoomed in here. And it's illuminating everything here. It is bright. Extremely bright. I have no problem seeing. You can see the beam. It's like a what's it called? A lightsaber. Look at that. This is bright, beautiful. You can see everything. It's awesome. Look how far you can see. That is cool. Yeah, it's extremely bright. I don't think you'll have any problem in the forest with this thing. Even on a lower setting, that's completely dark. Hold on, I'm gonna zoom it. Okay, that's about halfway up. That's not even the brightest setting, but it's still quite strong. And then double click, brightest setting, lightsaber mode. All right, cool. And then let's go into the camping light. Oops, which is the camp? There you go. You can hold it like this and it'll illuminate very nicely also. You can see. Okay, anyway, go back to, oh, that's the brightest setting. That's pretty bright still. In fact, it's quite strong. Let's switch it back to here. And again, super bright mode. Wow. That is bright. You can see everything. Okay, yeah, this is impressive. Okay, I have the flashlight going here and it's not very bright right now, but it's still pretty good. And now I'm gonna turn it up full brightness and you can see the dust. You can see how dusty it is in here. Let's see. Very dusty. It's all the pollen in the air and the various other things. Oh, I forgot to mention, if you quadruple click this thing, it'll go into safety mode. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, sorry, turn it off. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nope, try again. 1, 2, 3, 4. There, that was safety mode. See, if I click it, it won't turn on. If I press it once, I have to do 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There. Now it stays on, and now the light is active again. But yeah, you can see the amount of dust in here, in this light, floating in the air. Yeah, and there we go again, all the way to the end of the path. And here you can see all the way to the end of the path there. Okay, and again, lots of dust in the air. Wow, I didn't realize how much stuff there was floating around. Wow, there is a ton of stuff floating around in here. Wow. All right, guys, I have the flashlight again in a park now, and we're gonna put it on turbo mode. There we go. And you can see the other end of the soccer field right there. And it's basically lighting up the entire field. I mean, that is bright. I can see all the way to the other end of the park with this flashlight. I mean, it's crazy bright. Let's see here. I don't want to disturb people because it is quite bright. Again, you can see the beam and all the particles of dust. But that's the other park. Those are trees on the other side of a soccer field. And there's absolutely no problem for this thing illuminating it. That's how bright this thing is. So yeah, you should have no issues with this flashlight. It is extremely strong. And yeah, that's impressive. Very nice. Okay, so I think I just figured out why it says 9-volt input and output at 2000 milliamp. I believe this USB-C port here can accept up to 9 volts as far as when it talks to the charger. And it looks like it can also output, because I have this plugged in here. The flashlight is obviously working. You can see the light, whoa, is there. And I have my little one here, and I'm gonna plug it in here with using a USB-C cable, and it's showing a little red light. It's charging. See that? And unplug it, not charging. Plugging it in, charging. So this should be capable of being used for charging other devices that are on USB-C, as long as they have the proper protocol. Not all USB-C devices actually have smart chips in them that will accept and negotiate different voltages, but this happens to do that. And if you have a phone, a smartphone, it should be able to do that, and you should be able to charge your smartphone using this massive battery in here. So you have a backup power supply also for charging up your phone. Awesome. Didn't know that. All right, so it's been about an hour, and I was able to fully charge my HD03. You can see I'm turning it on there, and nice green light showing. And I also confirmed that it is able to charge your phone. If I plug it in here, you will notice the charging icon indicator going on, and there it is at 95% and going and charging up. I unplug it, and now I plug it back in, and it's charging. So with the hefty battery inside of the TS27, you should be able to recharge a phone numerous times. And it's great that you can use the flashlight as a backup if you ever need to charge up your phone. It has reverse charging capability. As long as your device is able to talk over the USB-C signal to the chip in here and ask for a charge, it will do so. But that's a great feature to have on this thing. It's quite impressive. I haven't seen that before on other flashlights. Okay, so I'm back in the house here, and did a test run of this in the forest, as you saw, and in the park. And all I gotta say is I'm impressed. It's quite nice to hold and extremely bright and fun to use. And I'm sure I'm gonna have a lot of fun with this thing. It's the most powerful flashlight I have by far. And I thought when I got this little HD03 that it was bright, and it is. For the size, it is extremely bright. But this guy just blows that out of the water, and I don't think you'll have any issues with this at all. And I like the fact that it has these other modes, which are really cool. You know, you've got beautiful little light that you can just have anytime where you stand this up, and it'll illuminate nicely below. The RGB stuff is neat. Lots of cool effects that you can do with this. And of course, the normal flashlight, which is just insanely bright. Oh, can't even look at that, which is also neat. And the locking mode, which I didn't mention before. I think I mentioned it while we were in the forest, but you press it 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. It does that. And then if it's in your pocket and you accidentally hit it, it's not going to turn on unless you do it again 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have to do it faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. There. No. 1, 2, 3, 4. There. Now it's on. Okay. Whoa. Okay. So that's it. There you have it. Hope you enjoyed this video. And that is a quick look at the TS27, a monster of a flashlight. Now to join its little cousin, my HD03, which I'll be carrying around and using quite often. Again, thanks for watching, and bye for now.